Matt Ducey.
Can be now put.
I'll hear it from Stuart Nash.
Thank you very much, Mr Chair, because I did have a little bit more to say on the gas levies. And the thing about this, Mr Chair, is I know we're going to come to title and commencement. No, we're reading as one, aren't we? So this is actually coming into play on the 1st of July 2017, so we're not very far, but I'm assuming it will receive royal assent before then. But my point, Mr Chair, is there's actually a change in the way that these levies are collected. And if we have a look at clause 23, and it talks about gas levies, so what is required is the retailers have to report to the Secretary on a quarterly basis. Now, this bill has been, it has been well signalled, and I think the officials have consulted with the retailers, and so they knew this was coming. Of that, there's no doubt. But we have seen in a number of bills, Mr Chair, the implementation period pushed out a little bit to allow certain industries or companies or organisations to actually get their systems in order that will allow them to report at a time, in a timely manner to change systems. What I'm a little unsure of, Mr Chair, is I'm making an assumption here that the gas retailers, because this has changed, that the gas retailers now have all their systems set up that will actually allow them to report in a way that is meaningful. Because, as mentioned, the reason why we have made this change is simply because the ability to collect the levy under the old scheme was non-existent. It was very difficult to police. There was absolutely no suggestion of dishonesty or fraud or anything like that. It was just so difficult. And we believe that the officials didn't have the men and women on the ground that allowed them to undertake this. The companies just found it too hard, so we've actually made it a lot easier. But we've just got to make sure that we don't transfer a problem we did have, which was it was too difficult, to the current or to the people or to the organisations that we're mandating to collect this. So I just hope that they've got their systems in place that will allow them to really hit the ground running, because I must admit this is one of the few bills where I have read about a required change in system or software where we have said from the day it receives royal assent or from the 1st of July, this industry must comply with something that I'm assuming is going to take a database or a software change. The other thing I would like to talk about is the regulations. This is clause 14 now on page 6. Amending the prescribing levy rates. And the thing that again concerns me a little bit, and I think we're seeing a little bit of a move to this, is regulations made under subsection 1, and I quote, this is A, 1AA, specify the periods for which amounts or rates of the levies apply, and include any prescribed method of calculating or ascertaining amounts of rates of the levies, provisions relating to any shortfall in recovering or over-recovery. So I suppose my question again, under what conditions or circumstances would the regulations change the periods for which amounts or rates of the levies apply? Because what we're actually saying here is you can change under regulation, so it doesn't have to come back through Parliament, the time period, and you can also change under regulation the amount that the levy is, which does in fact give the Minister, I believe, quite a bit of power, and it does actually, I sort of wonder when I see these things if in fact, Mr Chair, it provides a level of uncertainty in the marketplace. Now again, I'm not suggesting that a Minister would do this without a level of consultation, without a very good reason, or certainly without mandating ECA to go out or officials to go out and consult. But what it is saying here is under regulations, a Minister can actually change the amount that levy is. Now that gives the Minister a little bit of power, and and again, unfortunately, the Minister responsible for this bill isn't in the chair. I'm not too sure if the Minister there at the moment, I know he's busy reading his phone and there's no doubt important stuff on there. But I'm just wondering if he has any idea or any thoughts, or even within his current portfolios, of under what conditions he may decide to change that levy through regulation. I just think it's good practice. If you're changing something as big as this, and certainly as a levy, which is a form of taxation, let's be honest, if that sort of stuff just comes through the House, it just provides a level of transparency, through an amendment to legislation, just provides a level of transparency that I think is important when you're changing a levy or a tax or the terms and conditions under which that levy or tax is applied. But apart from that, we support the bill. There are some good things here. Could have been more innovative, but let's leave it at that. Thank you very much.
Members, we come to the vote, and the question is that Part 3 stand part. Those of that opinion will say aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. Party votes called for. Ask the clerk to conduct a party vote.
New Zealand